There we go.
Thank you, Karine. Does President Biden think the anti-Israel protesters in this country are extremists?
What? How? How?
What I can say is what we've been very clear about this. When it comes to anti-Semitism, there is no place. We have to make sure that we speak against it very loud and be very clear about that. Remember, what the president decided to, when the president decided to run for president, is what he saw in Charlottesville in 2017, when he saw neo-Nazis marching down the streets of Charlottesville with vile anti-Semitic just hatred. And he was very clear then, and he's very clear now. He's taken actions against this over the past 2 years. Mm-hmm. And he's continued to be clear. There is no place for this type of vile and despite this kind of rhetoric.
And we hear you guys, though, talk about extremists all the time. It is usually about MAGA extremists. So what about these protesters who are making Jewish students feel unsafe on college campuses? Are they extremists?
I've been very, very clear. We are calling out any form of hate. Any form of hate. It is not acceptable. It should not be acceptable here. And we are going to continue to call that out. And let me be very clear. This is a president that has continued to have that fight in his office, in this administration. You know, when he repealed Trump's Muslim ban on his first day in office, that is something that this president did. He also established an inter-policy committee to counter Islamophobia, anti-Semitism, and related forms of bias and discrimination. We have taken this very, very, very seriously, from the president all the way on down.
Does President Biden look at these anti-Israel protests on college campuses and think it's nice to see that the country's youth are so involved, or does he think the next generation is doomed?
Here's the thing. There's no place for hate in America. No. I'm telling you, there's no place for hate in America, and we condemn any anti-Semitic threat or incident in the strongest terms. And you heard me say at the top, I gave a message to students who are feeling under threat right now, right? You know, we're tracking these threats very closely. We are there for them. No student should have to be able to go to class.
What? Why? Why?
Live on campus in fear. And, you know, these incidents, these reported anti-Semitic incidents at schools and on campuses, that should not be. We have to condemn them. We have to condemn them.
Could you tell us more about the president's meeting with lawmakers on AI tomorrow that he alluded to in his remarks? Who will be in attendance? I know Senator Schumer will be one, and what exactly is going to be on the agenda? Like, is he recommending pieces of legislation they should pass?
So yes, as you know, the president signed this executive order, and it is a comprehensive executive order that the president was able to sign today. You saw him do that on camera, and the thing about that is it not only shows his leadership here in this country, but globally. And you're going to see the vice president obviously go to the United Kingdom to speak, to make a major speech at the global summit. So the president's going to have conversations with members of Congress as they move forward. You heard from Senator Schumer just now as they move forward in pushing legislation to deal with AI. And we believe this is an important step forward. What the president did today was just the first step. And it is comprehensive. It's something that we have not seen any global leader do. And now we need Congress to take action, to actually take legislation so we can actually put some laws into place. And so I'm not going to get into specifics on the agenda. We don't have anything to read out on any meeting. But the president, again, is going to lead on this effort as you saw him today, and as he's done in the past several months. We have to wrap up. Go ahead.
Also on AI, is the White House experimenting or using AI in any way right now?
I don't have anything to report on the White House experimenting ourselves with AI. I don't have anything on that.
You're not AI, you're the real field, right?
I don't know. Go ahead, Karen.
Do you speak any English?
The administration's withholding over $7 million from Ohila, the loan servicer, after they failed to send billing statements out to 2.5 million student loan borrowers. And there were 800,000 borrowers who were delinquent then on their loans because of these glitches. How concerned is the administration about these problems persisting as the student loan repayment continues? And do you know how many millions of Americans might be caught up with some of these errors right now?
So it's a very good question. I don't have a number of how many, we don't have a number right now to share how many Americans or borrowers, student borrowers are being affected by the glitches. Obviously, this is something that we take very seriously. This is something that Department of Education is dealing with as we speak to the glitches. Just don't have any specific numbers.
As quickly, I asked you about this in July because Republican and Democratic senators had warned about this midsummer. They sent a loan to some of these service providers, or sent a letter to the loan servicers saying that they were going to be poorly prepared for the restart, and they were worried about problems like this. Why are these issues happening? Was this surprising to the White House that there are now problems when the repayment started?
So want to get more information and get this more into context before I answer you on this question. Obviously, again, when it comes to the glitches that you're mentioning, we want to make sure this process is easy and smooth. So obviously we take this very seriously. I just don't have any details or specifics or data to share with you at this time. I want to go back to my team and connect with the Department of Education to get an exact understanding of what's going on. So I want to be actually really straightforward with you on that. It's important. I know.
Just another quick one on artificial intelligence. It's one of the subjects of the culinary union's bargaining again with the Las Vegas hotel and casino operators. Does the White House support their effort to get some kind of rules in place to prevent job displacement from AI?
So look, as you know, collective bargaining is incredibly important. The president believes in that, especially when both sides come together in good faith. And that's what we want to see. It is up to them. It's up to the union to decide what is important for their members. So I'm not going to get into negotiations. I'm not going to get into specifics. What I can do is speak to what we just saw. We saw a signing ceremony. The president signed an executive order. As we know, AI is the most consequential technology of our time. And so we have to take this seriously. And if you want to realize the promise of AI and avoid the risk, we need to govern this technology. And you saw today the president leading on this issue not just here in this country, but globally. And so that is what we want to make sure is important. This was the most significant action taken by any government.
Good job.
Yeah.
Take pride in that.
On AI. And so we're going to see the president, as someone just mentioned to me and asked about Congress. We're going to see the president continue to lead on this. We need Congress to act. We heard from Senator Schumer how they're going to move forward with legislation, and that's going to be important. And it should be done in a bipartisan fashion.
No! Yes! No!
Sí.
Ah!